Hey, what's up, y'all? Elliot coming at you. This is Rideshare Daily. I think we're on episode 56, 55 or 56. So I want to talk a little bit about tipping, in-app tipping. So no matter which app you're using, both Uber and Lyft, probably other companies out there, they have in-app tipping. So anybody that comments on any of my videos talking about you can't tip in Uber or you can't tip in Lyft, you're very far behind the times. You've been able to tip in Lyft for as long as I've been driving, which is over 13, 14 months. And you've been able to tip with Uber as long as I've been driving. You haven't been able to tip in-app with Uber until last summer, 2017. So I think it was like June or July they added in-app tipping in 2017. So I will say this before I talk about my average tips and how to get tips and that kind of stuff. Before Uber provided in-app tipping, I made more in tips than I do now. And for some of you that might sound backwards, that might seem unreasonable, but my theory behind that, because I used to get a lot of cash tips, my theory behind that, and I never solicit tips, by the way. I don't have anything on the back of my seats asking for tips or asking people to rate me. I don't have a tip cup, a tip jar, a tip container. I don't have anything in my vehicle that says anything about tips, and I don't ask for tips, and I never have. But my theory behind why I made more in tips before there was in-app tipping is when people have a great experience in your vehicle, they feel more of an obligation. If they're going to tip you face-to-face, they feel more of an obligation to give you a respectable tip, to give you a higher dollar amount than they do if they're no longer face-to-face with you and they're just tipping you after the fact later on their own time, just looking at their phone. So whereas before someone might have gave me a $10 or a $20 or even a $5 tip, now in the app they might give me a $3 or $4 or a $2 tip. It's just reality. That's the way it happens. So that's my theory on that. I used to do more in tips before there was in-app tipping with Uber. With Lyft, I would say my tips have increased over time. With Uber, I do get in-app tips now too. Yesterday was Sunday. I drove basically a full day yesterday. Made over $150 and 60, I don't know, like 63, 64, 65 was in tips. So that was good because I took a long dinner break, and when I came back out, it was okay, but I didn't feel like driving late into the night. And on my second to last trip, I got a $40 tip from a guy for stopping at the gas station and letting him go in and buy cigarettes. True story. That was the best pack of cigarettes anybody ever bought in my vehicle. So for letting a guy go into the Valero gas station and buy his cigarettes, he tipped me $40. And earlier in the day, I was taking another guy to the airport. He wanted to stop and get some cigarettes because he was flying out to Vegas, and he gave me a $5 cash tip. So yesterday in cash tips, I did $45 in cash tips from 2 trips. All of the rest of the tips, I think at the end of the day, it was somewhere between like $63 and $68 were in-app tips. More so in Uber than in Lyft. So I did over $60 in tips yesterday combined. Now the $40 to stop at a gas station for a pack of cigarettes, that doesn't happen every day. But believe it or not, it happens pretty frequently that people will do stuff like that. I've picked up a guy from a Spurs game before, and as soon as he got in the car, because I waited an extra 5 or 10 minutes for him and his group to get to my vehicle, he gave me $60, like off the bat, just for waiting. So Stuff like that happens, and it should happen, especially if you're a full-time driver. It should happen to you also in your market. So whenever people comment and they say, oh, people in California don't tip, or people in Canada don't tip, or people in Miami don't tip, or wherever you are at, I bet you I could go there and get tips. I guarantee it. I bet you I could get tips where you live. So I'm going to give you some suggestions, some pointers. On average, in a day, if I drive like a full day shift, I usually do somewhere between $20 and $40 in tips. Now, that's on average. Do I have days where I do $0 in tips? Yes. Do I do days where I do $3 in tips or $4 in tips? Yes. But on average, most days, I'm doing somewhere between $20 to $40 in tips. So, how do you get tips? I've done videos on this before. My answer hasn't really changed at all. And that is, smile. When you come into contact with people, smile. Like, people are happier, they're friendlier, they're more comfortable dealing with somebody who has a smile on their face than somebody that's like. So smile. That's number one. Number two is, if you accept a trip, quickly go to pick up the passenger. And if you have any difficulty finding them or their location or whatever, give them a call or text them and ask for further clarification on their location so that you can get to them as quickly as possible. The next thing is scripted greetings, welcomes. If you want to learn more about my scripted greetings and welcomes, sign up for the free video training series below in the description. The link is there. If you're a new driver or an experienced driver and you want to get better tips, I highly recommend you sign up for that course. But scripted greetings. So I say the same thing just like if I was a customer service rep on the phone at a Fortune 100 company. I say the same thing every time to every passenger when they get into the vehicle. So I greet them. Hey, how's it going? Barbara, right? Hi, Barbara. Barbara, we're going to 123 Main Street, correct? Awesome. All right, we're on our way. How's y'all's night going so far? That's it. That's it. I ask them how their day's going so far, how their morning's going so far, how their night's going so far, etc. That's going to give me an indicator, a gauge, based on their answer and based on their talkativeness or lack thereof, whether or not they want to engage in conversation. Some people do, some people don't. I would say probably 8 out of 10 of my passengers want to have a conversation with me. They will ask questions. Shut up and let them ask questions. If you're talking too much, they won't have an opportunity to ask their questions. So let people ask you questions. And if they ask you questions, continue smiling, answer their questions. Be a nice guy or a nice gal about it. And you don't have to talk about stuff you don't want to talk about, but have some personality, have a life. You're not a taxi driver. You're on a whole nother level of professional driving in a clean, hopefully very clean, good smelling vehicle. And you're going to provide them an excellent experience getting from point A to point B, right? From pickup to destination. So, which brings me to my next points. Keep your vehicle clean. Very, very, very clean at all times. At all times. If your vehicle's not clean, don't pick somebody up. Keep it clean. Keep it smelling good. Your vehicle shouldn't smell like farts. It shouldn't smell like dead animals. It shouldn't smell like Popeye's chicken or Domino's pizza. It shouldn't smell like the Chinese fast food spot. And it shouldn't smell like their favorite barbecue. Your vehicle should smell pleasant. It should smell clean. It should smell fresh, aromatic, and nice. So keep a clean vehicle. Keep a good smelling vehicle. Make sure you got your smile on your face, and that you're engaging in conversation with them if they want to, and if they want silence or they want to be on their phone or whatever, then respect that. One thing that I hear from passengers about drivers, some drivers are on their phone, they got the earpiece or whatever, and they're having their conversation like a taxi cab driver with whoever about anything while they're driving their passengers. Did you know your passengers don't really like that? I mean, some people don't care, but from an Uber or a Lyft driver, they don't expect that. They expect that from a taxi cab driver, because they're not as professional. It's a company vehicle. They don't care. They're just going, spot to spot to spot to spot to spot to spot to spot. They're not really trying to engage with the passenger a lot of times, and sometimes they are unable to because they don't speak the same language. So next thing is, when your passenger gets out, tell them to have a wonderful day. Tell them to have a great day. Wish them well. Continue to, smile at them. Have a great flight. Whatever it is, have a great week. Enjoy your day off. Tell them to have a great day. Make the experience for them pleasant. That's it. That's all I got. There's no other secrets. It's just be consistent and do that every single time with every single passenger. If you do those things and you don't get lost, and you're able to safely, efficiently, effectively get them where they're trying to go and make it a comfortable, smooth experience for them, then you should get all the tips that you want. So again, some days people are just not going to tip. Other days you're going to get huge tips. The best tip I ever got was $100 on a $7 fare. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't asking for it. I didn't think the guy was going to give me necessarily anything. We had a real brief, real quick, enjoyable conversation. I took him from the club to his house, dropped him off. He got out. He pulled out a $100 bill and gave it to me. So I made $107 in about 11 to 12 minutes. So it happens, but I'm sure for most drivers it doesn't happen, because you're not providing people with the experience that they want, that they're hoping for, that exceeds their expectations. That's all I got to say about tips today. So I hope you make a lot of money when you drive, and hopefully a good portion of that is tips. This is Rideshare Daily. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe below. Share, like, comment. If you have questions, let me know. More importantly, if you need training from a 5-star driver and you want to know the ins and outs, the secrets to my strategies and what I actually do inside and out in my business, sign up for my free video training course below. It's elliottpotter.net/free VT. Peace.